We out here with Tommy Stars, man.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Young Legend. He had reached out. I mean, he's like, yo, you gotta get Tommy Stars on here. He was around during that whole wave. You talking about the headshots, touch money, top class, and all that.
Definitely.
So let's take them back to that situation. Like, mind you, like we talking off camera. You one of the few dudes out of that wave that I ain't really get a chance to meet, and I mean, I ain't really know you that well and all that.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you this interview, just ask you some questions from my perspective, because there's a lot I didn't know.
Right.
So you from Logan Valley, know what I mean? So when I first, know what I mean, heard of you and seen you on the scene and all that, it was like, damn, boy, he on a different type time than the other boys. Like, you seem like you was on a different wave than them.
Right.
So speak a little bit on that. Like, know what I mean, some people would say, like, know what I mean, you and Reeseman, Cackalack and all. I mean, give them that rundown, like.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna break it down like this. Like, at the beginning of the whole DVD wave, when it first started and everything, you had the Hads, you had the Rees, you know what I mean, the whole Touch Money, Top Class, that whole wave was moving or whatever. You know what I mean? And Reeseman had lived in West Philly. He had just moved from South Carolina or whatever. You know what I mean? So he was around them dudes. He was real cool with friends with Young Hot and everything. You know what I mean? And he used to hit me like, yo, man, come on, we need to get on these DVDs. We need to get on these DVDs. And I'm like, nah, man, I ain't with all that. He like, you nice, dog. You need to really fuck these Jones up, because he was already doing Jones. Alright, so I'm like, dog, if we get on there, they gonna steal our style, dog. They gonna steal our flow. I was telling him this, you know what I mean, like in the beginning, because I knew our shit was unique, you know what I mean, and I was real protective over it. So he was like, man, just do it. I'm like, fuck it, we gonna do it, John. So I went out west or whatever. We did our first DVD and everything, you know what I mean. I can't remember what the name of the John was, but did it on some porch. That was cool. Then we started doing other DVDs like Leveling Up, I'm Not a Rapper, you know what I mean. We did that John, and from there, that we caught the attention of Bob or whatever. So Bob reached out to us. He threw us on a headshots John. Then we run the streets and all that shit. And the whole time we doing these Johns, like you said, it was a whole different vibe. I wasn't really on that street shit, but Reese was on the street shit, you know what I mean? So it was like the yin and yang and everything, and it was meshing and it sounded real good. We had the flows and everything, the real fast flows and shit, like not just bars, but we had the finesse with that shit, how we was delivering and everything. And I'm like, yo, we got some shit. I already know these niggas ain't fucking with us, dog. Like, we on some whole other level and shit. And I used to do the singing shit, you know what I mean? This was all before fucking Migos. This was before P&B Rock and everybody, you know what I mean? Like, and them dudes is great artists, you know what I mean? I was making that type of music almost 10 years ago. You know what I mean? It's documented. You can look at it on YouTube. But moving already, we had Mville. You know what I mean? Hey, peep my talk, peep my slang. Mville, get him killed. We do my motherfucking thing.
So at what point did that come? You gotta refresh my memory. Which DVD was y'all on? Like, at what point did y'all come along and even be on that joint?
On Headshot?
Yeah.
Shit, dog. I don't even remember what one it was. I just know we was in the back seat, and it was me, Ace Boogie, and Reeseman K. You know what I mean? And I don't even remember what headshot John it was, but it was so classic that QDZ played it on the Come Up show. You know what I mean? That was the first time we ever hit the Come Up show. So like, these dudes like really fucked with us. We wasn't really on that hard street shit and everything. We was more flashy than niggas, you know what I mean? And the streets embraced us, you know what I mean? And niggas threw us up on the Come Up show. We got some burn from there. Got some burn from Bob, and then Bam and Bob really wanted to start fucking with us. They just wanted us to be under the umbrella, but we already had our own thing. You know what I mean?
Alright, so moving forward, y'all popped up on quite a few DVDs. People knew who y'all was as far as the rap scene go. And then at some point in time, now I mean, you had started, having some issues with other rappers in the city.
Right.
So like, what did that stem from? Like you said, you wasn't even on the street type rapping.
Right.
So how you end up beefing with street rappers, like?
Well, like I said, I was a little cocky, man. I was real vocal, you know what I mean? I'm a Virgo, so I'm vocal as shit, like, you know what I mean? You say something or do something to me, I'ma speak on it. And I just got tired of it. I was telling Reed, like, yo, these niggas are stealing our flow, they stealing our style. So I started becoming vocal, and I started saying names, you know what I mean? And, like, when I would get on these DVDs, I would call these niggas out, you know what I mean? Like, I would say names like, this nigga ain't fucking with me, this nigga ain't fucking with me. Because at that time, they wasn't fucking with me. Like, that was period. Like, these niggas wasn't fucking with me. So that's how I felt. So, you know, back then, niggas would respond or whatever. So, you know what I mean? I got responses from Quilly, say something bad. You had the whole fucking, go-getters coming at me. This is MySpace. They all on my page. They in my inboxes. And me and Meek had a couple back and forths and shit. Like, he was on 2 DVDs. He spoke about me and everything. We run the streets, John. And yeah, me and Meek was actually supposed to battle. You know what I mean? We spoke on the phone and everything. It was a big little situation because we didn't battle up. I forget what college we was at. We was at a college, but all the rappers was up there, and niggas was battling and ciphering and everything. And Meek, Reese went over to Meek or whatever, and he like, no, I'm sorry. Meek like, I want to battle. I'm trying to battle. Who want to battle? He was like saying that shit loud as shit, like, who want to battle? So my partner Reese like, I battle. And he kept saying it. So then, like, I was ignoring this shit because my bars wasn't really up where they was supposed to be at that time. I ain't had a lot of shit memorized. We was doing shows and shit. So Meek like, nah, I ain't trying to battle you. I want to battle your man. I'm like, shit. You know what I mean? This nigga probably clipped up. I ain't got a lot of clips right now. You know what I mean? So I ignored him a little bit. You know what I mean? Then he said it again. He's like, I'm trying to battle your man. I want to battle your man. You know what I mean? And then at that point, we was already going back and forth on DVDs. So you had Bob and Bam hyping it up. Oh shit, Tommy, Meek, oh shit, oh, it's about to go down, you know what I mean? So I had to fade off a little bit, you know what I mean? Because instead of me getting chewed from not having enough bars, you know what I mean, I just faded off. I'm like, fuck it, I'ma just, you know what I mean, I'ma take this little L without taking this L. Because me getting chewed up by this nigga would look way worse than that happening, you know what I mean? That's basically what happened there. And then, after that situation, we actually spoke on the phone. We supposed to set up a whole battle. Tigger from BET was supposed to host the joint and everything. But like it was a lot of shit going on. We had the venue, we was gonna book the venues and all this shit, but it never transpired, you know what I mean? Niggas ain't wanna see that happen. I started climbing too much, you know what I mean? So a lot of niggas started hating on me, like a lot of niggas. A lot of these rappers started hating on me like a motherfucker.
So you saying that once you felt some type of way, you start calling names out. So did you actually call Meek name out?
Yeah, I said Meek.
Or so you was basically saying that he was. I mean, what was your claim to Meek exactly? I don't want.
These niggas ain't fucking with me.
So you just basically threw a shot like he ain't fucking with me. Meek ain't fucking with me.
That's what I always was on some art shit like rapping. I knew I was nice. You know what I mean? I knew I had a flow. I knew I could fuck with these niggas. You know what I mean? They was nice as shit. You know what I mean? Like all these niggas is nice. You know what I mean? I fed off of all these niggas. You know what I mean? And I just felt at that time like niggas was claiming that they the best. I'm like, fuck that, I'm the best too, nigga. Like, let's get in this race. You know what I mean? I told Reese, like, I'm getting in this race, dog. Like, so I jumped in, called out names, and.
So at what time, like, was Meek still with Headshots at the time, or at what year was this? Like, I mean.
Damn. Let me try to think, man. I don't think he was with Headshots still. He was still around him, but I don't think he was with him. I think he was like doing his own thing and everything, but I don't think he was around him. I mean, I don't think he was with Headshots, and I honestly don't even remember the year, dog. It probably was like 07 maybe. You know what I mean? Like, the DVD shit was popping around 05, so maybe like 06, 07 around there.
So you saying that you called him out and he responded, y'all went back and forth on a couple DVDs. Then he wanted to battle you, but you said you wasn't ready, so you just basically bowed out that day. Then y'all supposed to set up a battle, but it never quite went through. So did y'all ever like talk and squash the situation, or just pretty much died down on his own?
Yeah, it just died down. There wasn't nothing serious like that. You know what I mean? I seen Meek backstage at Powerhouse one year. I was with D-Block. We seen each other, dapped each other up, and that was that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm proud of dude. Real talk, you know what I mean? Like, we started in the same spots, you know what I mean? So it was never an issue. It was never real serious, you know what I mean? It was just some rap DVD shit. Yeah.
So you said, and Haddy responded and Quilly responded as well. So did you ever go back and forth with any of them, or they just said what they said and that was that?
Yeah, they just said what they said, that was that. I'm good with all these dudes, man. I hollered at, like, it was never nothing serious. It was no, like, we gonna go get guns and shit like that. Like, it never got to that point because it was never on that type time, you know what I mean?
So was your purpose, like when you called them out, did you expect them to respond? Like, was you expecting a battle? Like, what you just basically was making a point, or was you expecting something in return? Like,
nah, I was just feeling myself, dog. I just was like, I ain't know I wasn't doing it for no reason. I was just doing it.
So when he wanted to battle, you weren't expecting that, so you weren't prepared for that. Was that
right? And it was like a situation where it was so far after all that shit had happened. You know what I mean? Because like I said, at that time I was in the studio, I was making songs, so I wasn't really on the writing bars, a million bars and all this shit. And matter of fact, that shit was around the time that he dropped In My Bag, because the same bars he was going to battle me with was the In My Bag bars. You know what I mean? So right before he dropped In My Bag, his first big single, was probably like maybe a month or two before that and shit.
Oh, alright. And so you had mentioned like you seen him when you was with D Block.
Right.
So let's get to that story, because you definitely was one of the first people from that wave, if I ain't mistaken, to actually work with D Block and be down with him and all that.
Right.
So give him that story, like how, I mean, Tommy Stars, the one that's not the gangster rapper, that's one that's on that type time, how you end up with one of the most street groups, that's out there, like especially at that time, because they was still, waving right there. So
yeah, they had the whole D Block wave and shit.
Yeah, so give him that rundown, like how you end up a part of that situation, and tell him, give him that rundown.
We was back and forth. Me and Reese had met these dudes from down, like just rapping around town and shit. Met these dudes named Cash and June, and the boy Cash and June started managing us. So they had folks up New York, up Yonkers or whatever. So we went up there and we just started recording up Yonkers. They was like, yo, we need to get y'all out of Philly, get y'all a little bit more exposure, you know what I mean, out of the city. So we started recording up at D Block Studios or whatever, because he had the plug, one of the bulls had the plug. And we was doing records. I was doing this record called I Look Mean. I mean, I was singing on the hook and everything. It was on some Max B shit back in the day. But I was singing on the hook, and one of the D Block artists, Bully, shout out to Bully, my man, he heard the record. And when he heard the record, he was like, yo, this shit is crazy. That hook is crazy. Let me get on this, John. So we like, yeah, fuck yeah. Bully gets on the record, and then somehow, not somehow, Styles P heard the record, Kiss heard the record, all of them heard the record. They was like, yo, who the bull on the hook or whatever. They're like, that's my man Tommy, he from Philly or whatever. He do the hooks, he real crazy with the hooks. So he like, alright, so one thing led to another. We went to the other D Block studio when Styles was there, and they was working on the D Block compilation album. So they just do some beats on Poobs. They engineered Poobs, do some beats on or whatever, and he was like, "Can you fuck with this, John?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can fuck with it." I went in the booth, did the hook real fast. It probably took me maybe like 3 minutes to make the hook. Made the hook and everything. I laid it. I'm like, "Yo, give me another John." You know what I mean? Came out the booth, he threw another John on. Literally 4 or 5 minutes, knocked that John out. He's like, oh shit. So by the fourth hook, like this, they was coming like water and shit. Styles was in the room. I came out the booth, this nigga like, yo, this nigga grabbed me up and shit, hugged me and shit, like, yo, this nigga a little me, this nigga's a fucking machine. Like he's spitting them out, you know what I mean? So that's basically how that situation happened. You know what I mean? Through that connection with Cash. And from there, we just built a relationship, you know what I mean? I'm making hooks for these niggas, fucking with these niggas, you know what I mean? Like, them my folks.
Right. So who did you actually work with? Just Styles, or did you work with all of them? Like,
I worked with Styles and Sheek.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just Styles and Sheek. I know Kiss, you know what I mean?
Right. So how long did that situation last? And I mean, I give them the rundown what you did after that, like.
That situation, it was like a good year run with all that, you know what I mean, the whole D Block run and everything. And from there, it got to a point where me and Reese had stopped dealing with each other because I didn't like how the management was going. So I parted ways from the management. He stayed. So Reese was trying to stay with him. He like, nah, don't leave, man. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dog, we could do this shit ourselves. We nice enough. Boom, boom, boom. So I just parted ways with them. And I didn't even know what my next move was, like, to be honest. But I was sitting in the house one day and Legend hit me up like, yo, out of nowhere, like, yo, you know who DJ Big Mike is? I'm like, nah, I don't know who that is. And you know who DJ Big Mike is? Yeah, so DJ Big Mike had contacted Legend because he seen the I Look Mean video. He seen me on there. He was like, yo, who's this kid, you know what I mean, on the video, who's singing, he got all the jewelry on, who's this guy? So he reached out to me and shit. He came down to the crib the next day after I spoke to him with John Shapiro, who manages Nipsey Hussle right now. He manages Foxy Brown, all them, and they came down to the crib. I played a couple records for them. They like, yo, we fuck with him. You trying to go back to New York? I was like, hell yeah. Got in the car. We went back to New York. I did a couple hooks for Nipsey Hussle. I did a couple hooks for who the fuck else I do hooks for? God damn. Nipsey was in there. I did some hooks for Nicki Minaj. I did some hooks for fucking Trey Songz. I did some hooks for fucking those are the people I could think, but like dealing with DJ Big Mike, that was my next big step. So he had me on all the mixtapes and all that shit. Had me on the radio up in New York, up in Connecticut and everything, and that's what I was really waving out with, you know what I mean? I was around Max B and all these niggas, Dame Grease, like, and that's where, you know what I mean, I got into my whole solo career and just started writing a lot behind the scenes, you know what I mean? Like, that's where it took it.
So when you say you did, for the people that's watching, they looking like he did hooks for who? Like he did all these people? Like explain, like you wrote it for him, or was you actually on the track?
I wrote them. And all the records that I wrote for people didn't get placed. You know what I mean? Just because I wrote them, that don't mean they got placed. So I don't want niggas to be like, yo, he fraud, he ain't write this. Yeah, I did write the fucking records. Records don't get placed all the time. You know what I mean? The records I did for D-Block did get placed. You know what I mean? I was on 4 records on that actual album. That actual album sold over 100,000 units when it dropped. And it outsold MMG First John. You know what I mean? At that time. So it wasn't nobody that even put out an album at that time in the city, you know what I mean, besides Freeway. Freeway, I believe he went gold at the time, and it was around that time, but I was on an album that actually sold over 100,000 units that was from that era in the city and everything, you know what I mean, and I was on the record, so like, vocal with them Johns. I had a record with Trey Songz that was real vocal, it did over 1 million views. It was on his main website, the TreySongs.com John. Some shit with Slim from 112. Like a couple Johns, you know what I mean? I was around at that time.
So you had a run working with all of those artists. So tell them about, I mean, what you've been doing after that. Like give them the story from that point. Like once you did work with them, like what was the next moves? Like?
Right. I actually like fell back from the music to keep it a being, man. Like things was changing. My life was changing, you know what I mean? I was raising my kids. I was like, fuck it, I need to raise my kids and fall back from this music a little bit. You know what I mean? So that's what I started doing. Then when I got back into it, I started writing. You know what I mean? I just started writing for a lot of people behind the scenes type shit, you know what I mean? Like putting a lot of people in position, helping a lot of people at that time. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what I've been doing the whole fucking time, man. And been writing ever since then. Yeah.
So to bring them up to speed, we're in 2017 now. So tell them, like, since they haven't seen you on the scene until now, like give them an update on. I mean, what's up with Tommy Stars these days? Like,
I've been behind the scenes, fucking with the cameras, man. Like I was running all flamers for like a whole year. Shouts out to Rockstar P. You know what I mean? He doing crazy things with that John right now. But like I was running all flamers, like the video work, the editing work, and everything. So I just basically jumped behind the scenes. Now I got a company with my partner Amir, you know what I mean, and we got 282 digital and that shit running. I mean, I'm about to start getting that shit popping again, like I got all flamers popping, you know what I mean, and just a lot of behind the work things, like shooting videos, you know what I mean, that's where I'm at right now with it, and ghostwriting. I'm still ghostwriting, fucking with Raw Life Records, that's DJ Circuit Breaker, Hojo, and Dice Raw and shit, so I think I'm about to like link a little deal with them as far as some writing and all that shit. You know what I mean? I wrote a couple of Suzanne Christine. I had wrote her single that she got out now too, Love Drunk and shit.
Okay. So for people that want to follow what you doing, want to connect with you, go ahead, plug all your info, plug all your social media and all that.
I'm on Facebook, like Tommy Stars, TOMMY STARS. I'm on Twitter. I don't really be on that shit. I ain't been on there for like a year, but that's Tommy Stars. I think it's just Tommy Stars. I be on Instagram though, like a lot. So Tommy Stars Online. Tommy Stars Online. That's how you can find me and shit. Follow my page, Fashion King Photography. That's my photography page. I do the photography. Follow my digital page, 282 Digital. You know what I mean? And that's where they can link with me from there, man. I'm out here, dog. Like I'm still out here working. Y'all need them hooks, get at me. I'm fucking working. High as a fucking kite. We can smoke one and make some fucking magic. You know what I mean? Philly F.A.M.E in this bitch. Shouts out to everybody in Logan too. Let me give some shout outs. My man Stan and Cannon with the Casual Campaign, you know what I mean? Y'all niggas know Cannon from doing the crazy block parties every year and everything. My man Germ and shit. Dukes, you know what I mean? Like everybody from Logan, man. The whole fucking hood, man. I fucks with my hood, like big time. You know what I mean?
Alright, man, we signing out, man. Tommy Stars, Philly Fame
my
TV.
bad. I'm sorry. I ain't shout out P. I'm sorry. I ain't shout out Rockstar P. I ain't shout out motherfucking DJ Young Legend who made this whole shit possible. I ain't shout out my man Ty Hustle Hard, my man Band from TV, my man Kush Beats and shit. You know what I mean? I gotta put the plugs in there, man.
Alright, man, we signing out now, man. Philly Fame TV, Tommy Stars, man.